Welcome, friends, to the Great British Mickey Waffle, and do we have a mid-month show for you? Sit back, grab a cuppa, as we welcome back a previous guest who's so much to update us about, not just about an Orlando trip, but a wedding trip too. Welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I
go. I'm joined this mid-month by Ben and Becca. Hope you guys are both all right.
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you, John?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to today's show. It's going to be good.
Oh, so am I. And actually, without further ado, I'm gonna welcome a good friend of the show, and it becomes one of those. You're actually now in one of the elite column of guests now, Em, because actually you've been invited back, and that doesn't happen to many people. So, Emma, it's great to have you back on the show. And actually, as catch-up's going, this is going to be one of those. Just makes for wonderful listening, and just it's good to see you.
Thank you. I'm hoping I remember everything and I can convey it well.
It's one of those things when you get back from a trip, it's like you always focus thinking, okay, I'll plan the next one. You don't think about what you've done before.
No, I had to go back and remind myself because there was just so many amazing things we did. I had to list them so that I could make sure I hopefully mention them all.
Oh, good, because I've got a list. I've got a list as well.
We do like a list here, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, we do. So I'm going to do this bit now because actually, if anyone missed your last visit, we talked a lot about your time as a cast member, your advice for Josh and Morg on their summer college program escapades, which are really, really useful. And then we spoke that you'd got engaged, you planned to return with a family, and that was the April 2024 mid-month show. So if anyone wants to go and pick that out of the archive and watch that one first, do so. However, the next bit we usually leave to the end of the show, and I'm not going to do it at the end of the show because actually I've spent I'm getting better at this show. I've spent time prepping for the show. So I've followed you on YouTube, which is Enchanted, Enchanted with an X at the end.
Yeah.
And actually, once you listen to this show, go and check out all of Em's videos because actually they are superb. And I got a real delight in actually I kind of got lost in watching them. I must admit, it kind of it took a lot of time over the weekend where I was just thinking that is just one mighty good trip. And actually, I think as things for a mid-month show to talk about, I just felt this is absolutely superb. So that's your YouTube channel. You're also on Instagram as well, which again, I don't do Instagram very much, but I followed you on Instagram and you follow me back.
Follow back.
There you go. Yeah, I like that.
I love it, John. It's only taking you 6 years to work out YouTube and Instagram. Where are we going to be in the next 6?
TikTok. I'm on Blue Sky. I don't care. That's it. I'm sorted.
I joined TikTok the other week.
I tell you what, I changed me profile picture on Facebook. It's amazing what people tell you. You know, just by changing the photograph and updating it, and it's just like I could quite go. I might change it every week.
It's all the attention you start getting it, you know.
I just saw good grief. Look at that. It was me thinking I was being smart. I just making a picture that was a little bit more recent. But hey, the show's not about me. I'm here to promote your YouTube channel because actually I'm thinking that is quite a new thing for you. Is actually putting a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, I really started with this trip. It's something I've wanted to do for ages, and I regret so much not doing some of my previous trips. And I just thought, you know what, this time I'm just going to do it. I didn't like invest in much equipment or stuff. I bought little microphones that cost, not very much money, £5, whatever, and I forgot them most of the time anyway. So I didn't even use them that often. But yeah, it was so fun, and I liked having the comfort. Obviously, spoiler, I went with my family and stuff, and it was nice to have them there as well because I knew that they would just interact and join in. So it was just me and the camera the whole time. There was other people all joining in, and I wasn't alone. So, but yeah, it was so much fun, and I'm so glad I did it, and I'm going to continue doing it because it was just such a good experience, and I've got all these memories now that I can just watch back whenever I want. How nice is that?
You're selling this to me because I'm not a great one for videoing, and I've got to say it was one of them. It's one of them YouTube channels that you become more and more sort of engaged with the more you watch it, and you actually begin to know some of your family and stuff like that. But just some of the things we're going to talk about in this show is just I actually couldn't really think if there was anything you missed out of the whole trip because you just went and just made it a trip that was just incredible. So I'm going to start with the first question, right?
Yeah.
Let's get this bit out of the way because this could take quite a while. Because this is the bit that really intrigues me, right? One, how did the wedding go? But also, how on earth do you go about planning a wedding so far away when you're on this side of the Atlantic? And it's just, for me, that seems a logistical nightmare. And actually, something when you do watch the video of it, it seemed really nice and calm and really sort of quite relaxed and stuff. But go on, tell us all about your wedding.
Your luck, the calmness. I wasn't calm on the inside. I was very stressed on the inside. And we didn't have a wedding coordinator. It was me. I basically
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my word!
Wow.
Yeah. I was
All
the wedding
brave.
coordinator. We had help from friends whilst we were there. So first of all, we decided we want to get married in Florida. There was going to be no question about it. And when we looked at the cost of Florida versus the UK, Florida won again. So, added bonus. We know we didn't want a big wedding. So why not do it somewhere that we absolutely love and in our most favorite place ever? So then we started falling down the route of, okay, we definitely want to get married in Florida. We love Disney. We love Universal. In what realm can we do it there? Disney weddings were just out of the budget. There was no way. You can look at them. They look beautiful. They'll tell you that it's got a certain price, but then on top of that price, you have to spend a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
You're like, no, thank you.
There's like probably minimum guests, the amount of guests that you have, and then you have to spend per guest. And
yeah, and that wasn't for us because we wanted something casual and calm anyway. And they're it's quite a formal event if you do it with Disney, in my opinion.
I remember we watched the series on Disney Plus,
Yes.
and it's like, oh, that would be amazing because they never tell you the cost of it.
I just looked at that and thought that costs way too much money for my
looks
little bed.
I'd love to have all of Magic Kingdom free for me to have the wedding
I was
there.
ringing up the dollar signs.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, good grief, that would just cost a fortune.
Amazing, but so not us, so not our thing. So then I was just researching places in the Orlando area that you can get married, and I discovered that you could get married at Disney Springs, and there was 2 locations. I think one was Enzo's Hideaway. We wasn't so keen on that one, but we decided to go to Paddlefish because we knew it had a lovely backdrop. I knew where it was. I knew it was very pretty and beautiful. So we ended up reaching out I found out the contact details of Paddlefish, and I just Googled them. They're run by a company called Levy. I think it's Levy Restaurants. They have lots of restaurants all over the world. And so I reached out to them. They came back to me quite quickly. You can rent, it might have changed. It was $500 for the hour at Paddlefish, which I don't think's for an hour on Disney's property. I
think that's pretty impressive.
That's less than it cost us to get married in a church in the UK
Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we were quite impressed with that. It came with a water station and they put the chairs out. There was nothing more to it, but we didn't need anything more than that. So once we decided on that was probably what we were going to do is when we put the feelers out to our friends and family and kind of said, this is what our general plans are. If you're a definite no right now, let us know. We don't mind. Absolutely fine. But we got a really positive response, which was really good. Quite a lot of them wanted to come along. So I set up a little website that they could reply on. I got their answers. It said that they were definitely interested. They might be interested, etc. I think it was called The Knot. You can just set it up for free online, set up your own website.
Wow. Yeah.
You can set a password with it. so people can go in and say what they want to say. So I set up a brief little, this is Disney, this is what it is, this is the kind of thing to expect of the cost of the hotels, this is where we'll stay. You can stay other places if you want to. I was thinking there was a group of them, maybe if they wanted to get a villa together, kind of thing. So I gave people a few different options and a few introductions because some of them hadn't been to America before. So it was a whole new realm to them.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did my best to give a brief overview. I probably went into too much detail and started rambling as I do, but that's fine. Quite a lot of them said yes. And from that, we then decided what we were booking. So we decided on Paddlefish to get married. And then the next thing on my mind was the best part, one of the best parts of the whole day, which is food, obviously. And again, we were thinking, okay, we could do a fancy sit-down meal. We could do all sorts of things. We could get a Disney reservation. We could go off-site. We could maybe rent a large villa for that day, get people to come and cater in the villa. And then I thought, you know what my favourite food is? And Joel, my husband's favourite food is Blaze Pizza. So, of course, I reached out to Blaze Pizza. And I said, is there anything we can do here? All I want is to reserve a space. And we'll pay on the day. We'll all come in. We'll all order our own food. And then we can pay on the day. And we also had people with allergies in our party. And obviously they can cater for all sorts of allergies. They do gluten-free, vegan, all of it that you can imagine. And obviously you choose what you want on your pizza as well. So for people that are a bit fussy, they can just have whatever they want.
That's a great choice.
Thank you.
Can I ask a really pertinent question here? Because actually, there may be somebody who's listening to this and thinking, we don't want to get married in the UK. This sounds the most perfect way of doing it. Now, am I right in thinking that you made people pay for their own flights to get over to Florida?
Yes. So
but you only paid $500 for the use of Paddlefish.
Yeah.
Did you pay for the pizza at
Of course
Blaze?
we paid for their pizza at Blaze.
No, you don't. I just thought I'd ask because actually, as places go, that's quite the thing. And actually,
That's
I know I always get told off for being tight and things like that. I'll say this quietly in case my wife's listening. If I am ever in that position of having another wedding, which after all the years I've been married is highly unlikely, that seems the route to go down for me, I tell you, because actually, as a money-saving way, that is perfect because I just think the cost of weddings in this country just are off the scale. But to have something as memorable as this and actually having people buy into the commitment to actually being part of it. And I think that's the bit, isn't it? When if you're having to buy flights yourself, which you should, that is a commitment to you and to Joel that we're going and we're going to be at your wedding and it's your day and we're going to be part of it. I think it's brilliant. Really
we are
is.
so grateful for our friends and family, even being willing to spend that much money. And we know that some people couldn't come for certain reasons, and that's absolutely fine. We know that they're committed to us as well. But the fact that so many people came and so many people were willing to stay in the same place as us and do everything with us and spend their hard-earned money, use their hard-earned annual leave to be with us, we're overwhelmed. We are so overwhelmed with their generosity for even just giving us their time for 2 weeks.
I think it's
come with us.
Yeah, I must admit, I just thought I'd get that out there because actually, I think for some people who listen to this, and I hope when they do listen to it, you begin to see. And again, a fair play to you for doing all of the reaching out to places. And I know if you've been to Orlando before, you kind of know that you can actually, the phone numbers to do and things like that. You don't have to pay for a wedding organizer. You don't have to. You can keep the cost to yourselves as a couple manageable. And I think for me, that's a bit where I think weddings go. They get just crazy expensive, and yet you come back from them and there isn't that lasting memory. And I think, and again, I go back to what I watched on YouTube. You just all had an absolute blast. And it wasn't just about the ceremony. It wasn't just about the day and the party or anything like that. It was the whole period of time that you were away. And I think that for me was a bit that really struck me as I was watching it.
Going back to the start of that, honest from the start with everybody, it's your holiday as well. You're the ones that are giving up time to be there. Do what you want to do. We're going to do what we want to do. Come with us if you want. If you want to go do something else, that's absolutely fine. As long as you're there on the wedding day, please, Otherwise, you're free to do what you want with your time. You're the ones that are in Florida. The only thing we recommended is people that have never been before, spend your first day with us just for a little bit, just to get a bit of the feel. Because otherwise, I think it can be really overwhelming.
Just to get the bearings, because it's difficult for someone who's never been to Orlando before, and it's a lot bigger. It's a bigger place than you think, and especially when you're just looking at Disney and you get the brochures and you look at different places, you look at a map. Oh, well, that's not too far to get from there to there. But then actually, when you're on site, and it's like, actually, if I'm using Disney transportation, I'm getting a bus from one park to another, and it's how do you do it? And
it's even the shock of you wake up at 5 a.m. to get on the bus at 6 a.m. to be there for 7. And people are like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? You're going on holiday?
People are up at 5 No one's going to be up at that time. And all of a sudden, you're at the bus stop and there's a queue. And you're like, yep, people are up. Come on, come along. So, going back to Blaze, I emailed Blaze. I just said to them, is there any chance of reserving a space? And they said, yeah, absolutely no problem. Email us a week before. So that was on my mind. I was thinking about that.
Hopefully the manager who you've emailed is still working there a week before.
I was lucky that when we'd went year before, I noticed they had the business cards of the managers by the till in Blaze. I just grabbed them because that had the email on I needed to contact. So I was really lucky that I just managed to pick them up at the right time. Otherwise, I probably would have called them. I'm lucky that we have access to Skype and you have some money on Skype. So it's a lot cheaper to call America through Skype if you need to. We only called people twice in the end. So we didn't use it too often. We could have done an email if we were patient. We just wanted an answer right away. So it wasn't even essential to call America to get these things done. It was all done via email. They send you documents to sign. We did quite a lot of things through bank transfer. And the way that we were booking them, you gave them your card details and they took the money sometimes as well. So they provided us over email all the stuff we needed. Obviously, you just feel like you're booking something over an email and you haven't spoken to somebody. Almost you haven't seen the venue. I know what Paddlefish is, but I haven't, been to exactly the location where I needed to. I was just made sure I was quite upfront with everybody that we spoke to saying, we are in the UK. You can't call me. If you really want to talk to me on the phone, we're going to have to arrange something on Zoom. So I was just clear with everybody from the start of that. Well, what else did I need to arrange? Oh, the whole marriage license. Now I was stressed about that. That was really a real stressful thing for me. Just because I was nervous that we weren't going to take something that we need, and it's not like I could just pop back home and get the documentation. Turns out what you need is your passport. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So we turned up at the Orange County Courthouse. The first time we went there, we just got an Uber there. It was about half an hour. They pull up right outside. The first day we were there, we actually queued 45 minutes to get in. And I thought that was normal. Turns out there was a really big court case going on about a really massive crime that had happened. And there was just lots of people wanting to go into the court and watch what was going on. So second time when we went back to get a certificate, we just walked right in. However, the security at the courthouse, I would say, is worse than TSA. It was so strict.
Okay.
So strict. So anyone that's going, take a small bag or leave things in the car if you've got a car. Because I had a Loungefly backpack, and they pretty much emptied my Loungefly backpack and opened every single pocket of my purse or checked in every little card holder section. It was crazy. How much detail they went into that. But once you're in, you just go up some lifts, you put your number in a touch screen. Do you remember like butchers in Tesco's, they give you a number and you take a ticket?
Yeah.
It was practically like that. Then all of a sudden you say, it's like number 26, go to section number 3, and you walk up, you give your passport. We had to say an oath with our hands up to say that we declare whatever it was. And then they give you a piece of paper, which you take with you when you get married. So we arranged for somebody to marry us. Again, it was all organised over email. And she's on the day she signed it, we took that back to the court. They stamped an orange on it, and then that was it. We have our marriage certificate.
Wow.
The person that married us, she was absolutely wonderful. However, we didn't realise on the day she kept saying that we can pay her through an app. And we thought she just kept saying, it's fine when we're there, just download the app and we can do it. It turns out you can't download the app on UK phones. And that wasn't something that we'd thought about. And then she said, "That's okay, you can pay me by check." And we thought, we don't have our check.
I was gonna say,
Luckily,
you
we
want
had
travel
to give
stuff.
their cash.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah, I was gonna
absolutely
say
fine. It was fine. It was not a problem. We could pay her.
cash is king.
Cash
Shall we
king.
say?
If you're
She just pushed
planning
that
on,
across to the day.
yeah, if you're planning on getting married in America, just have a good amount of money on you on that day, just in case.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was something that kind of threw us off in the moment. But after that, we sat down and ate our cake, which we got from Erin McKenna's, which is just opposite Paddlefish. Again, because we've got allergies in the party. I'd ordered the cake again over email. I said exactly what I wanted. They were a little bit funny about. They kept saying if it's a celebration cake, it needs to be the ones that Disney approve of. And I kept saying, we're not getting married through Disney. I've arranged it myself. And it took a couple of emails, but after that, it was understood. And we could get the cake I wanted, which was just a white cake with our names written on it. It was nothing too special, but the cake was absolutely delicious. We went and had our photos all around Disney Springs. And I have to say, I'm absolutely in love with our photos. I think our wedding photos are amazing. But in between this, we've given out disposable cameras to everybody. So we've also got loads of photos that my mum actually got printed for us the other day. And they are fab as well. The most iconic photo of me and my husband ordering our pizzas in Blaze. Like, it's so cool. I think it looks so cool. After Blaze, it was a ridiculously hot day. People weren't feeling well at that point because it was so hot. It was so humid. We were really lucky that that was the one morning that there was a slight haze in the sky and it wasn't blaring sunshine. We were so grateful. We needed that tiny little bit of grey and shade just to help us get through it because it was so hot and so many people, bless them, were wearing their suit jackets and everything just to look smart on the occasion, but it was so hot. So after Blaze, we went back to the resort. Most people had a shower, freshened up. I got changed because I wasn't allowed to wear my wedding dress for the next part due to Disney weddings having regulations. And because I wasn't having one, I couldn't wear my dress. So I put on another dress, which was made by my mum. So it was still a white dress, but it was more casual. And we made our way over to the Polynesian. And we all got Dole Whips and Dole Whips floats for everybody. And we sat on the beach and we had those, which was the best because it's nice and calm, relaxing, lots of sitting down, lots of breaks. It was hot. We all needed a bit of a break. I'd given everybody leis to wear, so everybody had a few different leis. It wasn't the plan. I'd said smart casual for the day, a little bit more casual, but still smart for the evening. And everyone turned up in like Hawaiian floral shirts. And plan, but everyone just looked. So everyone had a bit of floral on. Everyone had that beachy vibe. Yeah. And it was perfect. So everyone with their leis, Polynesian, it was wonderful. We hopped on over to the Grand Floridian. And I didn't realise, but they now have a photo pass there. This is something that I've missed before with the glass slipper. And there was no queue, so we thought perfect. At this point, there's a massive group of us. Because we had people coming in dribs and drabs throughout the start of the evening. And oh my goodness, the photographer was fantastic. He worked the whole crowd. He got everyone into all sorts of things. We have the best photos of everybody together. And then we went over to Basin. We washed our hands because that's what you do at Basin on your wedding day. You still wash your hands. We had a little bit of 10-15 minutes to spare, so we just waited in the lobby, again, just relaxing, sitting in the aircon, and then made our way over to the boats because we got a firework cruise, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. That just looked one of the greatest ways of actually bringing a wedding day to such an amazing finish. It was just watching it. I'm just like, you don't really get much better than that. That's just so on point. It really was.
So we had 2 boats to fit everybody. And they take you around on like an hour tour all around the lake, telling you all about different things, history, pointing out things that you wouldn't usually be able to see unless you're on a boat and having a look around. And then they pull up right in front of the Magic Kingdom and they pipe the music into Happily Ever After on the boat. And it is just fantastic. And we had the best boat driver. He was absolutely wonderful. The team on the team. The people on the other boat said that they had such a lovely time with their driver as well. So yeah, that's how the evening came to a close. Oh, you
Wow.
get to watch the electric light water pageant as well, and then you
Yes.
go back. Just as the water pageant finished, there was the first drop of rain, and it's like we'd just missed all of it. As soon as we
Wow.
pulled in, it,
It's
like,
amazing.
yeah, it was the best timing, and it cooled everything down as well. But
Yeah.
it could have rained on that boat the whole time, and it didn't. So we were so lucky. And
Wow.
then we went back, and I think I got chicken nuggets and went to bed.
That is a great way to end it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Blaze
Disney
pizza,
chicken nuggets.
Blaze pizza and chicken nuggets on your wedding.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
It just sounds perfect. Whereabouts were you guys staying? That's the one bit.
we stayed at All Star Movies this time,
Yeah.
and we've done all the All Stars. I think I've done the All Stars many a time, and personally, I'd rather have more days in Disney and stay at the All Stars.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
option.
I think we've that's
yeah.
the only All Star we've not stayed in. I think was movies. We've done sports and we've done music,
They're all the same. Yeah.
especially as they've got the sort of refurbished rooms now, like Pop
Yeah.
Century.
Yeah, definitely. So the number we had, it was one of the best days ever. So yeah, I'm so grateful that everything went to plan. I guess that's down to my organising skills. I can only give myself credit because I did it. So, and we had wonderful friends, like the leftover cake and stuff. Our friends just grabbed it, which we are so grateful for. So yeah,
I think there's so many little parts in there that you've already hit upon things that maybe people wouldn't naturally think of as well. You know, again, wedding attire.
Yeah.
And not being allowed into the parks wearing your wedding dress.
yeah,
Again, nothing against Disney's rules and all that, but I can understand why they do it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And also the comfort you get of your guests as well, because actually, if you're going to a wedding, the natural thing, as a traditional British person,
Yeah.
would be to wear to
Wear
get the
comfy
zip
dress
jacket on,
jacket.
things like that.
It's
Yeah,
and it's
you know what?
so hot. Even things like down to footwear, you couldn't wear normal wedding footwear because it's so hot, and it's just
Yeah.
not comfortable.
and just it doesn't matter what time of year you book in Florida. You never know what the weather's going to do.
No.
You can go in December and get a heat wave and it be 35 degrees.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was amazing. We had such a good time, and we're just so grateful for all of our friends. I can't thank them enough how wonderful they were at
No,
supporting
that's
me.
lovely. It's so nice that, and I think as well. I think it's one of them things that you always, over the years, I've been to a few weddings, and you always come away. You know, certainly we always come away and thinking, I still think our wedding was the best one. Yeah, I really enjoyed our wedding day. It was
Yeah.
a great love. But yours just is exactly that. You will remember it forever. You
Yeah.
will remember every single detail of it, and not only just because you planned all of it, but because it went so well as well. I would say, again, do go and check out Em's YouTube channel, because actually your wedding dress looked absolutely beautiful, and I
Thank
think
you.
that's another.
That was also my mum made that, so I have to give her a
Yeah.
shout out to making
Oh, wow.
that as well.
Just
Thank
absolute
you. And
quality. I just think it's
Yeah.
it's part and parcel of your day, and I know it's such a massive part of it being right or wrong as well, isn't it? So
definitely, I mean, it's even down to little things like I did my own hair and makeup. It's another money saving tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice is key. Just keep practicing. I did makeup in college, so I had that as a little bit of background, but I've forgotten it all. So it's just relearning everything, and just thinking from things from a humid perspective. Things that would work well in the UK won't work in Florida. So just be constantly in the back of your mind, hot, humid, sweaty, and then everything will come with
yeah.
I was sweating. That's why you've got to have that in the back of your mind the whole time.
Yeah. Can I ask you another question though?
Mhm.
When you flew out there, did the wedding dress go in your hand luggage or the hold?
I had a hand luggage case, like a little wheeler.
Yeah.
I had my backpack, and then I had
Yeah.
my dress in like a dress bag, like a suit bag. And they were absolutely fine with that. My husband also had his suit in a suit bag. And as soon as we got on the plane, I said, "Hi, I really hope you don't mind. Have you got space to hang these up?" And they said, "Absolutely no problem." So I quickly whipped
Wow.
a bag of sweets out of my bag to say thank you.
Oh,
And it was absolutely fine. What they did is they wrote our names down on a ticket and our seat number, and they hang it up with their coats. So as long as there's space, They will take it. We flew with Virgin, so I can't speak for
I was just going to say that. Shout out to the airline, because
Yeah.
when something's done as well as that, they need a shout out.
And a
need
shout out that
remind-
they then also brought us glasses of champagne, even though we were just in economy. So-
Even better.
Even
That's what I like. That's what we want.
Yeah. So that was very nice of them, and we got looked after the whole way. So yeah, again, very grateful. They were standing there holding them, ready to give them to us.
Oh,
That's how
Oh, that
we
is
are.
lovely.
Yeah.
I just had that. I had that moment of sort of high anxiety. You know, if you put it in your suitcase, and what happens if you, as has happened to me in the past, where your suitcase goes on a holiday all of its own, and
It was on my
you'd be
shoulder
left.
all the time.
You'd be left.
You're
Be
there.
left without.
I
Yeah.
was just panicking the whole time, but I was
Yeah.
holding it. I was stressed that I didn't have it. It's ridiculous.
one of those things you just think about it. It's like the same thing you hold on your passport tightly throughout your whole trip, and it's one of those things you think about, and it's the most important thing to think about.
Yeah. The one thing I was worried about is I took flowers myself, so not real flowers. We bought fake flowers, and we turned them into bouquets. And we also gave everybody buttonholes, so everybody had a buttonhole that matched my bouquet. So all of our guests, they were part of like the favors that we gave out. And I didn't put them in my hand luggage because I was concerned because some of the wires in them are quite sharp, and I just didn't want to risk it. So my mum very kindly put them in her bag, and it made it there, so that's fine. That was the first one we saw in Paris, and we lost out here. Like, don't worry about the rest of it. So that was a risk I took with the flowers, but I thought worst case scenario, I can go and get flowers from somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
If I really needed to. The main thing is getting married, isn't it? You know, so I was prepared. If I needed to, I could just run and have a backup plan. But everything else, all the shoes, his cufflinks, everything, all of that went in hand luggage, and I prioritized that in hand luggage over probably things that I should have, like socks. You know, I prioritized things.
Yeah.
You get to
No,
the
I
point
just
where
thought-
that 23 kilogram limit is just not enough.
No, I don't know if you've got to the end of the vlog series, but we may have purchased an extra bag.
Done that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it always
has
happens.
to be done.
But the thing is, you should never take it out again and turn and you realise, like, I need another bag.
I know.
Yeah, that's the mistake, Ben. You see,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
You have the
is actually
suitcase in the
find-
suitcase on the way out.
Find something that goes inside the suitcases that you've got. That's the trick to it, and
Yeah.
actually just be prepared that you're going to be paying more when
Yeah.
you come home.
Yeah.
We actually bought a big massive duffel bag, which basically if you put more than 23 kilograms in it, it's likely to fall apart anyway. So it's one of those that it's got like a 10-year guarantee, and it's dead easy to take out. So when you come to buying the bag to come back again, if needed, fine well you've got it there.
Yeah.
And you just pay your 60 quid, and you're just like, there you go. I don't have to go to Walmart and buy one of their ones that'll fall apart.
Yeah.
Because they always look, the ones at Walmart for me just look as if the type of suitcases that.
As soon as they land back at Heathrow, they're going to be missing a wheel.
They'll be yeah.
Bought a duffel bag from Walmart because again the suitcases, they're so expensive and they look really like they're just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So we got a duffel bag. It's a duffel bag with wheels, so it's a bit of a posh one. But it was $20 from Walmart, and I stuffed it full of all of our dirty washing, and it came to 19 kg. So I thought, brilliant. We'll have that.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of washing when you get home, though.
I don't. Oh, days.
No, that's going against the actual glory of your day. You've mentioned your mum a couple of times already, and I know when you were with us the last time, I think you said that your parents hadn't been for quite a while as well, had they?
So
how did they find that? Because I think that's for me that's quite a nice thing when people who haven't been for ages, and they get that same feeling of going back to a place that they've loved. How did it go for them?
It was fantastic. So the last time they were there was 2018. They'd have a couple of trips booked and cancelled along the way. So this one was like actually going ahead. Number one, it's a miracle. Number two, I was getting married. So obviously they were well happy. And it happened that we were on the same flight and everything. So there's 2 flights from Heathrow, and we always just book whichever one's cheaper, and we know we see each other at the other end. It all worked out that we were on the same flight, which was perfect. It was pure excitement from the beginning. We live very far apart, but we happened to both pull up at the airport within about 30 seconds of each other. So Perfect.
There you go. That's that little extra planning detail that
Yeah.
you've got there. I'm really getting into this. Yeah.
I get there really ridiculously early to the airport, and I got that from my dad, so we obviously were just on the same wavelength. We both got dropped off by different people, both with the same name, funny enough. Both Chris's dropped us off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was perfect. So we got out of the cars, we crossed the road together. In the vlog, you can see us walking into the town all together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went through all of security, and I'm such an anxious traveller. Wherever I'm going, I'm not myself for 24 hours before. Don't talk to me. I've got to focus, and I don't even know what I'm focusing on because I'm just in such a weird mindset. And that's until I get to the hotel and check in, and then I'm like, okay, I can relax now. But it was so nice to have them there because we're very much independent. We all do our own thing, but we always come together at the end. So it's so nice to just sit on the flight together. We'd actually booked. We were at the back of a block. There wasn't a toilet behind us, but there was a wall behind us. And it happened that my parents were like just behind that block. Again, pure luck. We'd just happened to book seats. And then Joel's parents were exactly the same spot as my parents, but the other side of the plane. So again, they were just there to wave to each other. Just pure luck.
I've got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned about having to get to an airport early. Just how early do you get to the airport? Just out of curiosity, because I'm right there. I'm right there with you. If you're going to go to the airport, you need to make sure that nothing's going to go wrong.
Yeah, they say 4 hours. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I say 5 plus 15 minutes. 15 minutes is to load the car up
I can
and
understand
unpack
that.
the car.
I get
If
it.
you're coming by car, it's why I tend to stay in a hotel the night before.
Yeah.
It depends on the time of the flight as well, because it's like I think our next flight, what was it, 2:30 now, and it's like we're at that point, like, do we stay the night before? Because it's only if the M25 is clear, it's for about 90 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're about half an hour from Heathrow, so it does seem a bit ridiculous to.
No, I'm with you.
just
I'm with
pop
you.
down the road.
I will go to a hotel. I have to go to a hotel because otherwise I will not sleep. And I know damn well that it'll be that one day. It'll be that one day. The traffic is just going to go.
Yeah, and that's where we live. We're lucky because there's a couple of routes we could take. There's a couple of motorways to get us to the airport if we needed
Excellent.
to. So that gives me that comfort. However, if it was Gatwick, we're booking a hotel. There'd be no question about it. So I really think it just depends on where you're based.
Yeah.
We're lucky that we can just skirt around. Some of the people that came with us 10 minutes from Heathrow, they got on the bus,
Yeah.
So it depends.
That sounds good to me. I live too far away from any airport. So, you set my mind at rest to the fact that it's not just a me thing; it's an everyone thing that we all don't want. We all don't want to be in that.
We're all
position.
different on a travel day as well.
Yeah,
it's like you gave me a list on our last pre-travel day to what left to pack, and it's like I had to message you several times going like, you've given me a list, but my brain just like I don't know what I'm doing.
And I didn't like not being the one to pack that stuff.
Oh, I need to know what was in that case. I know where things are in the case, otherwise I can't. And if it's something really important, this is my anxiety showing, and everyone's going to judge me for this. But if it's something really important that I really need to remember, I will go put it in the thing and go like cabbage, or say like a really weird word, and then I remember that I put it in there. So the amount of weird things I'm saying as I'm packing, just so I remember that they're in
the thing
there.
is, the pressure's also on when it is a group trip, because I remember we left. The only time we've done a group trip where there was 9 of us, I was in charge of getting everyone's tickets together, and we're all getting a taxi to the airport. I'd left the Universal tickets at home because I did everyone's online check-in before we left. So we did all of that, and it was like I was giving everyone their passports back, and it was like the tickets were left on the dining room table. So I didn't realise until we got to the hotel the night before the flight. I was like, okay, we got a taxi here. How am I going to get home and get those tickets? And it was like, luckily on my phone, I'd taken a picture of all of the tickets. So on our first day, while we left everyone else at Hollywood Studios, we went to Universal and said, like, because we were upgrading to annual passes, so we had our passports. And what do we do with these tickets?
Can we
do
get
anything.
them. Otherwise,
And
you're going to have to.
they said, like, if you can get us a printed copy and your passport, we'll reprint your ticket. So we went back to Coronado Springs, got it all printed, and we took it back with everyone's passports on our first Universal Day, and we got it all sorted.
They
So
are
all-
good if they will try and help.
Yeah.
But I mean, packing for me, plus packing for a wedding, that was stressful.
Yeah.
I can imagine so.
Yeah. So lists and more lists. I started my list probably a year in advance, and every so often something will come into my head. So I read online that if you're getting married and wearing white, take white chalk with you. Any spillage, just draw a bit of white chalk on you in an emergency. So I was like, okay, white chalk, and that was on the list. I just had a constant note app on my phone. But any time I'd be sitting at work and I'd just be like, hair clips, just quickly write it down. And that way I had everything that I thought of over the last year already in one place. So I knew that I needed to get that all packed and organised, or even order it. Some of the stuff that, you don't have in advance, get that all ordered. So yeah, it's just prep list. I shared my list with everybody as well. Obviously not the wedding ones necessarily, but Florida things that you don't
General packing list.
I said that to everybody that wasn't used to it as well. Things like I take a Ziploc bag with me so that I always just have it in my backpack for any water ride that I go on. No one else would have really thought about that, having not been there before. If it torrentially rains like it does in Florida, just keep a Ziploc with you for anything that you might want to put in it. If you bought a nice pin or something, you just want to keep it dry, just put it in a Ziploc. So I shared all of my lists with everybody that I thought might need it as well. So I hope that helped for some of our guests that hadn't been.
Really quality idea, that.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, if someone's listening to this and you become inspired enough to go and plan a holiday, a wedding and a holiday over there, I think listen to what Em said. Go and watch the videos, because actually there's so much in this. I think this show and your videos will go side by side, and someone being able to actually put together a wedding of a lifetime. And I'm really intrigued, because the rest of your holiday, and it's really nice, because actually on your channel it doesn't come across as just this is how to have a wedding. You've got, it's like a wedding, honeymoon, and basically a celebration. But you had tickets for nigh on every park known to mankind, which surprised me, because actually I thought if you've got enough on your plate, you can just organise it and get your wedding out of the way, and then have a few days just chilling out by the pool or something. But you guys did everything. I was just like,
we got married, and then the next day we went to Volcano Bay, and then for dinner we went to Hoop-Dee-Doo. We were right back at it.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
We didn't stop.
You did loads. Tell us a bit more about some of the other things you did, because actually,
I
know that some of them for me are things that we certainly don't talk about often enough on the show.
Right. Let me get.
I'm even thinking of your tickets with Discovery Cove, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens. You had that one. You did Horror Nights. You did the Volcano Bay, and you got in some shopping along the way as well, which I hasten to add is more than just one day in the trip. The shopping trips crop up. Go and check it out. The shopping trips come up more regularly than you would actually think. I just thought you're quite balanced. Absolutely spot on.
We were very gratefully gifted gift cards. Whilst we were there. And we made the most of it. Lots of presents were dollars and gift cards, and we enjoyed all of that very much. So if I run through a few things that were a bit different from the norm, if I just kind of point some stuff out. So we did a joint hen and stag. We did that 2 days before we got married, because at that point everyone was there. A few people were coming in a few days later. At that point everybody was there. So plan was to eat and drink around the world, and we had a jolly good time doing so. The standouts were a rosé regale in Italy, because always, and I was lovely treated to that by our friend. It chucked it down the whole day whilst we were there. It was a poncho on all day kind of day.
Oh no.
Yeah. I went and got from Norway the Layla perfume, which I absolutely love. I got that as my wedding perfume. So that was a bit of a special treat, because it's expensive, but it's fine. That was something I wanted to do in advance, and I knew that. And we had Violet Sake, the cocktail from Japan. We watched the Epcot fireworks show, which I hadn't seen at that point. It was new to me. So that was a lovely day that we had with all of our friends and family. Next day was Discovery Cove. That was my first time at Discovery Cove. So with that, we got the Discovery Cove ticket, which includes parking, SeaWorld, and Busch Gardens. So we went there. We had a lovely day meeting the dolphins, and I touched an armadillo. I love armadillos, and I didn't know they had them there, and it was absolutely wonderful. We had such a nice day, and a little hat. They have loads of like packets of crisps and stuff at Discovery Cove. It's all inclusive whilst you're there. So we took crisps, snacks.
Bring it back with you.
Of course.
Load up the backpack.
We had the loveliest time.
Did you actually enjoy Discovery Cove? That's one of my questions, because actually, as a show, we very rarely talk about Discovery Cove, and we actually had a cabana and we did it big time.
Yeah.
A good number of years ago, and then you get the dolphin swim package, you get the photos, you get the whole thing. It was just a day to remember. How was your experience?
It's exactly the same.
More recently, I think that I want an update as to what it's like now, because actually, I know people think it's expensive, but actually, I don't think it is. I think it's a really good value ticket, and you get
agree.
free food and drink.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. It's a day to remember. It's so worth all of the money. The only thing I'd say is we've done the dolphin swim this time. If we were going again, we'd give it a couple of years before we did the dolphin swim again, just because that does bump the cost up a lot. If you get the day without the dolphin swim, you still get to see the dolphins, you get to see all sorts of other animals, you get to it's relaxing. In Florida, that doesn't happen very often, in Orlando even. It's such a lovely place to be. It wasn't crowded, even though it was sold out. There was plenty of space, plenty of lounges, plenty of lockers. Things like the lockers are free. You can go and get your breakfast, and then you can go and get your food. Another thing I would say, actually, the only thing we were slightly disappointed about was we had our lunch, and then we'd gone back to go and get some more food at around 3:00, and the food was gone. And there was nowhere else to get apart from snacks, and we wanted some more chips, and we couldn't. So that was the only thing I was slightly disappointed in, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I just went and got a cookie instead, so.
Because it does shut quite early, isn't it? It's about a 5 p.m. close in the summer, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also, your point there about not being busy, even though it's sold out, is another one of the things that it always surprises me when I read reviews about it. Even people are saying of a weekend, you would assume it would be rammed, and it's not. They seem to get the balance of the crowds absolutely spot on. So you'd never have that feeling as if it's like a theme park. You actually have a little bit of space, you get a bit of time to yourself, and you still have that like secluded feel that it's a bit of a tranquil experience.
That's exactly. It's so tranquil. It's so lovely. And if you wanted, your wine and beers included as well. You don't have to pay extra for that. Okay. If you want a cocktail and stuff, you do, but wine and beers included, which I think is such a lovely touch, because in Florida, they'll try and upcharge you for absolutely everything. And yes, they do upcharge you for a cocktail if you wanted one, but it's not needed. Where else are you going to get a free glass of wine in Florida? It just doesn't happen. No. And it was such a lovely, calm, relaxing day. We got there at opening. It was still dark outside. And it was so beautiful to see it with sunrise. It was gorgeous. So I would definitely recommend anyone that's thinking about doing it. It was one of the best days, and it was relaxing. So you get a little bit of a break as well from all the hustle and bustle of all the other parks.
It's been on our list for a while, but we've never actually got around to doing it.
No, it's one of those ones that we haven't thought about doing in a long time. I almost forget it's there.
I think it's because when you look at the price, because it includes SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, and we did SeaWorld once and it was okay, but we've never really thought about doing Busch Gardens. So it's like my sort of value of going like, well, I'm paying for these tickets that I'm not going to use. So that was always been the difficult one. We've not ever been to Busch Gardens, so maybe we need to use it as that excuse of like, we've got the ticket.
You need to, because there's some absolutely amazing coasters there as well, and I think that for me, I'll come back to Em in a minute, but that's the thing that quietly I've got a little back burner for later this year, is the fact that I have reasons reasons that I'll keep to myself that I don't want to go to SeaWorld, but Busch Gardens and Discovery Cove are there. But Busch Gardens, I know it's now, was it iron gauzy, as opposed to the old wooden one. And the wooden one was one of my favourite coasters of all time. And it's worth the trip out. I think as well. It's
Step out of a
you know,
drive.
it's dead straightforward. Just before you get to the outskirts of Tampa, it's well signposted. It's easy to get into. The complaints at the moment is that sometimes not all the rides are open, but I think that's probably a staffing issue over the winter.
Yeah.
And I think that would probably be corrected when it gets to the busier times. What was your experience of SeaWorld? SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, Em? Go and tell us.
They like to close the rides at about 3 as well. If they know they're going to get a short staff day, they'll kind of put an announcement out that they're going to shut this ride at this time. So as long as you're aware, but it's not open that late either. And I've done Busch Gardens 3 times now, and each time the longest wait we've done is probably 20 minutes for a ride.
Okay. Wow.
We've managed to do everything that we wanted every single time we've been. So I think that's very telling that you can just make your way around it. You don't need to buy the fast passes and stuff. The only thing I'd say is sometimes they stop the tram to the car park, and that's like a good 20-minute walk.
Ooh.
At the end of the day,
In Florida heat.
Yeah, you can do without that. Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to everything else that we did, after we got married the next day, it was a treat from my mum and dad to go to Hoop-Dee-Doo. That was one of the presents that they'd given us.
Brilliant.
And we were so lucky. If we go and watch on the vlogs, basically we got the ticket given to us. They print they're giving you seats, they give you a ticket. And she went, "Oh, that's a good table," and just gave it to us. And I didn't really think anything of it until we got in. And again, she was like, "Oh, that's a really good table." She walked us directly to centre in front of the stage. Yeah, I could have reached out and touched the dancers and performers. It was absolutely incredible. My mum thought I'd like paid extra money or something.
Wow.
We just got so lucky, and it was a table, I think it sat 6, and there was only 4 of us as well. So
you had the space. That's really nice.
I couldn't believe it. We got so lucky, and I don't know how I managed it. So don't ask me, because it was pure.
Just one of those sort of pixie dust moments.
Yeah, it was just incredible. Next day, we did Universal, but then in the evening we went to the Kiss Me car show. So there's a couple every week. I don't know exactly what's on what day. We went to the classic car show, and if you are into cars, if you just like the buzz of a good energy, oh my goodness, it was absolutely amazing. I'd never been before. We went with my dad and my husband Joel, and they're both big car people. My dad especially is into American cars. He always has been. And the people that own the cars love them so much. They're so knowledgeable about their vehicle, other vehicles. You go around and you talk to people. There's line dancing, there's live music. People are just out. No one's crazy, but everyone's just having a drink. People are having fried gator nuggets on the side of the street. Lots of really cute and pretty shops. And then all of a sudden the national anthem plays, and then the cars start parading down the road. It was just amazing. And it's all free.
I think it's in Old Town,
isn't it?
Old Town.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which again,
locate
on the map, and if you get in early, you just have time to just get your bearings and things like that.
Yeah,
it is something that's absolutely amazing.
Even after the show, we went into shops and stuff afterwards, and it was still bustling. It was still lovely. So I'd really recommend that. I just looked online and found out what days and times it was on, and I just went that way. So if anyone's interested, just have a look and choose which one you fancy, or any of them. I'm sure they're all great, to be honest. I'm sure they're amazing. Couple of days later, Halloween Horror Nights. We love Halloween Horror Nights. We do. We've got a real thing for it. It's one of our most favourite events ever. So we had a great time there. I think my favourite was Ghostbusters, if I remember correctly. But we always just love the vibes of Horror Nights. That's our thing. It's one of our favourite things. We rented a car. We were paid for a sport car. The people next to us, I could hear them. They were getting a sports car. They went off. And then I get a phone call, the lady that was serving us, saying that we've got 2 sports cars and one of them's got a broken windshield, and I've just given the other one to the other people. And I was devastated. In my head, I was really, really gutted.
Yeah.
And she went, "Okay, it's all right. We can upgrade you." And I was like, "Cool." And she was like, a BMW or something else. And she went, or a Jeep Wrangler. And they're my dream car in the whole wide world. I have a vision board last year, and on my vision board, I had a white Jeep Wrangler with black wheels, and it was a white Jeep Wrangler with black wheels. So I thought I wanted one, but I got to drive it for a little bit. So, half a dream came true. Maybe I should have been more specific, but it was amazing that I don't know how we managed to get my dream car. I can't believe it. And my husband remembered his driving license this time. So he got to share the driving with me. He did the driving this time because I did a lot of it last time, but he loved it.
Yeah.
So that was really, really good. And at that point, we bumped our way over to the outlets and did all sorts of shopping. As you've mentioned, we went to many a shop, many an outlet, and had a lovely time.
I was also thinking when you mentioned about Busch Gardens as well, there is an outlet not far away from Busch Gardens that very few people know about, but it's very similar to the Orlando premium outlets. But what we found is if you were looking for more Orlando specific sportswear, it was dead cheap because it wasn't in Orlando. So we picked up like Orlando City football tops one year.
Now that you say that,
it literally is on that same circular road that's near Busch Gardens takes you on from Tampa and things like that. It's a really, really good place.
I'm going to have to look that one up. I'm thinking back to when we went to Naples a couple of trips ago. The outlets in Naples or near Naples.
Oh, that's another good one. Yeah, I think I've been to every shopping place in the whole of Florida.
Yeah. I love shopping.
Yeah.
I'm really good at it. It's a talent of mine. What else did we do? We went to Topolino's for dinner. That was a special treat from Joel's parents. And another miracle. Another magic moment. I've got no idea how it happened. We went to Topolino's in 2022. I think it was 22, 23, one of those. We had the same server. We've only been twice, and we've had the same server both times. Yeah. And we said to him, I think you've served us before. And he said, you know what, I do really recognize you guys. And he was so lovely. He's now would have been, but he was visiting Ireland and the UK. He loves all things British and Irish and all of that stuff. And he was going to play some golf, and he was so lovely. His name's Paul. So if anyone's looking for a specific server in Topolino's wants a great experience, Paul is wonderful. And he will really look after you. And he's done it twice now, so I know he's good at it. So
what was the meal like for dinner? We've only done breakfast before.
Oh, I've done dinner twice. Incredible. I mean, I've got the rigatoni both times. I've got exactly the same food both times. I got the rigatoni because that's right up my street. And I got the starter, the freshly made ricotta. Yeah. Delicious. Puddings, nice. I think fancy puddings are sometimes a bit pretentious. It was very tasty, but sometimes I do just want a slice of cheesecake. And that isn't the kind of place for a slice of cheesecake, but it was all delicious. The drinks are delicious. If we were to go next time, because we've done a sit down there twice, we'd probably go and sit at the bar, because you can sit at the bar and order food to the bar as well, which I think is just a good tip if someone wants something a bit more casual. But it is absolutely fantastic, and you get brilliant views of the fireworks and just across Caribbean beach and stuff. You can go out there after your meal and just beautiful. They turned off the lights. We were out there for so long, just chilling and relaxing. I think wanted us out, but it was so gorgeous that we didn't want to leave, watching the skyline and go along. It was wonderful. What else did I do? We moved over to Universal Dockside Hotel halfway through. After 2 weeks, I mean. We love Universal hotels as well.
Yeah.
We really do.
They are great.
We've done Surfside and Dockside. They're pretty much the same. One's just bigger than the other. We've got Starbucks in the lobby.
Yeah, they're both great. It's just whichever one's cheapest on the day you go and book.
Yeah. However, I looked the other day and Cabana Bay was cheaper on both of them.
It's interesting since the new Universal ones the new Epic Universe ones have come online to book. The prices have all changed.
Yeah, so I think I really want to do Cabana Bay one day. That when we do our next Universal holiday trip, I really want to do Cabana Bay. But we've had nothing but good experiences. At the Universal hotels as well. What else? I'm just looking through all of my list. We got given a free ice cream vouchers as somebody at Disney Springs thought that my mum and dad were the ones getting married, and they gave them free vouchers for ice creams. But my mum finally corrected them and took the vouchers anyway. So they gave them to us. They handed them down, so that was very nice. I got a Mickey cookie sandwich. We found when we were at Universal, we didn't really need the car anymore. You have to pay for parking at the hotel, pay for
It's like
parking at the park.
$15 a day, or was it probably more?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
It's $15 a day. The ticket didn't always work. At that point, we weren't going to Disney anymore as well, so we didn't need it to get back and forth. At that point, we were just doing Disney, and I mean, we were making most of the car going to like 7-Eleven and getting slushies all the time because they had Oreo Coke had just come out, and they had it in the slushy version at 7-Up, 7-Eleven around the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So that we made the most of that all the time. The $2 massive slushies that you get. The last thing on my list that's something new that we did that we absolutely loved was Minion Cafe.
Oh, okay.
It was
Never tried it. Yeah.
a new favourite. We got the same thing both times, but we got the crispy cauliflower, and
Okay.
it was one of the best meals I've had in Universal for such a long time. I would so recommend it, and it had vegetables on it. They're rare in Florida, aren't they? You don't get those.
Yeah. You just get a bit of broccoli on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, I probably missed loads of key points, but yeah, that's what
I don't think you have. I think what you've managed to do is quite succinctly advertise all your videos that are on your YouTube channel, which I think is absolutely, which is brilliant, which is great because actually that's for us. That's what I certainly want people to go and watch them. I think they're just an amazing watch. It's an amazing record of what is just a cracking trip to Orlando, and you know. I think for you and Joel, I think it is those memories that will stay with both of you about a very special day, which kind of wasn't just a day; it extended into a 2-week breakaway.
Yeah.
Just what a great memories to actually have, and I just like I said earlier in the show, it's was it M chanted and then an X on the end. It's easier to go through your Instagram channel and click on the link there. If you go and have a look on YouTube itself, I think it doesn't need to have a capital E as well.
Oh, I don't
Because
know.
I found it
I haven't tried that.
To make it easy, what I'll do, I'll put the link in the description below, whether you're on the podcast or on the
there you go,
YouTube. You can find it.
But it's definitely well worth a watch. And just can I just say a massive thank you for coming back and sharing so much and sharing so much that I think will give lots of other people a lot of different impetus to go and plan their own wedding.
Yeah.
Within Florida, but also the confidence to do it as well. And I
can
really
imagine how people
that's
get
the
put off by typing Disney weddings, getting through to Disney's website and going, oh, that's a lot of money, and then forget the idea and just don't think about the other side of it.
I think as well, Emma, you're a fan of going to Miller's as well, aren't you? So if push came to shove, you could actually ask Miller's to take care of it, and you could sit and watch the baseball or something like that whilst having a private part of Miller's to go and actually have your wedding if you needed to. If all else fails,
There's actually so many restaurants that do that. We looked. I can't remember exactly which ones, but so many places. If you can just rent a section.
Yeah.
And they'll close it off for you, and you do whatever you want. And you've really just got to research it. That's one other tip. Sorry, I don't know right at the end, but treat it. Google search as if you're a local. When you think of a question, think, how would a local person ask this? It just kind of gave us different answers to what we were looking for. So obviously it's really different depending on what question you're asking, but just think, how would a local ask it? So otherwise you get a load of touristy answers, and unless that's what you want, that wasn't what we wanted.
That is wonderful advice. Just a massive thank you, because actually I think when you're sharing something so personal, I think it's very difficult to actually bring back all them memories and stuff like that. But you've very eloquently led us through what's on your YouTube channel. So a massive thank you. Really
before.
There you go. See, there you go.
I think we've got to another show that I worry about my credit card, because it's like, now I'm going to look up Discovery Cove.
Busch Gardens.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's definitely it. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap us up, right? So go and check out Em's channel, Instagram and YouTube. And as always, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review as well. It does help spread the magic. We'll be back soon with more Disney fun. But until then, we'll see you soon.
We'll see you real soon.
Now my wheels in